Hello, hello.
Nice.
Okay, let's do
Hey.
this.
Woohoo!
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and either. Welcome to the second episode of Arbitrary Night. Today I have myself a very special guest, Mr. Dauha Namang, also known as Nemo Lockeheart, the mastermind behind the project, the Gothic Industrial Wave project, Lockeheart.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, you want me do? What do you want me to call you? Nemo or Namang?
Yes, just Nemo is fine.
Nemo. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So Nemo, first of all, can you give the audience a short self introduction of yourself?
Yes, so I was born and raised in Hanoi. And so I'm a huge metal fan since I was I would say around 12 or 13 or something. I think my first band was the first one that really got me into heavy metal was Children of Bottom. So yeah, it's kind of spiraled from there, and I just started playing guitars, and so I was around 15, and then I met Hugh, the guitarist from El Cross, and yeah, we just kind of start doing weird shits from there.
All
And
right.
so yeah,
Okay. We
and
will.
that's how it came to be. Yeah.
Yeah, we go deeper into those information later.
Yes.
Okay. So Lockhart recently released the debut album Whippers of the Moon on September 20th, sorry, 30th of
13. Yes.
2022, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the album itself, it's hard to categorize. It's a bit gothic, a bit industrial, and it's
hmm
wave, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, all in one unique album. Can you talk about the main influence to this debut album, like the music?
Yeah. So I think, and so it started off with Motherwell, which is the third track in the album. And the way it came to being was kind of funny because so I started recording one of the songs for El Cross, which is Forevermore. Yes. It was the first song that I was trying to singing. And before that I didn't know I could sing or sings very badly. But then I tried out, and like the band's just like, oh, this sounds pretty okay. And I was like, yeah. So I start trying singing. And so Motherwell came to be. And at that time, I was visiting a friend, and he has like a synthesizer, and I was recording a synth sound, which is the sound that you hear in the very beginning of the song. I think it's the very whoop, boom, whoop, boom. That was the synth that I recorded, and I was like, okay, I want to try something very tribal, dark wave kind of sound. And so that's how it started. I got the song down. It's like, yeah, this is an interesting way to start to try new sound, because I was having a solo project of mine, which I was also doing some weird random stuff. And so with this one, I was like, yeah, well, I want to try singing, and so I want to try also writing song with different approach and different sound, and so that's how it came to be. So I go with that, and the rest of the albums just came quite naturally. I just pick a sound that I like, mostly like drum and synthesizer, and then I just add things on top. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, unique itself, all the track in the album, it's like one distinctive sound, which is
Yes.
really nice. Yeah.
hmm
Okay.
Yeah. I like
How
to
about
experiment with a lot of
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah. How about the lyrics? How did you came up with the lyrics?
So for lyrics, because I was also at the time I was writing a lot of short story and novels, and so I want to write song that are in a way a part of the universe I'm writing. So all the lyrics are thematically speaking, they related to the universe I'm writing, so they are all fantasy related topic. So the first one, it's just an opening track. It doesn't really have much to it. It's more like just create this spooky kind of atmosphere. The second one is more like sort of like a prophecy kind of story with like the end of the world, and there's a the characters in the story, the song, it's like the little kid is gonna be like the destructor of the world or something. And so this the destroyer. And so it's kind of go from there. And a lot of the theme of the songs are relate to motherhood or family, because it's also one of the things that I tackle a lot in my own writing. So it's kind of spiral from there. Um, I don't really have like a major theme for every song. Like it doesn't all the song, which is different from my previous work, which is it's not a concept album. They
But they
share the
follow the
same.
same theme. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they each songs are on their own, but they do share just like an overall thematic idea, but not they're not chronologically speaking fit together. Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
Now I want to talk about your writing process.
Hmm.
Well, I don't know how wave artists actually usually came up with their song and how they like proceed to record and to write it.
Hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So but this one is also a bit different because before I usually have I start with drums, laid out some very simple drum track, and then I either pick up my guitars or my bass, and I just start writing some riff, or I start with some piano and then I turn them into like guitar riff. That's how I usually did it before, and with my solo project and with Cross. But with this one, because the guitar is not really the main instrument, the majority of the instruments there are synthesizer and strings, orchestral. So I still start with drum, and I usually pick a synth sound that I like, and just start with the very basic, either chord progressions or a just a bass riff, and just slowly build from there. I don't really have visions of what the song is going to be before I write it. I just, okay, here's the sound. I just expand on it. So I put it out, this, I kind of sketch out the structure of the song. Okay, so here's the intro. Okay, and this is like the verse. I can have the chorus over here. And then I just like, I have that foundation, and then I go into individual parts, and I just, okay, so I might want some strings over here. I want some more synthesizer over here. Maybe I have a guitar or whatnot. And usually, once I have all the instrumental down, I will start writing the lyrics and yeah, sing on top of it. Sometimes it's the vocals came before. It depends.
Oh,
It's very unlikely, but usually, yeah, I start with instrumental 1st. Mhm. Yeah.
well, well, when I write music for maybe for the Colomi, I
Hmm.
usually like write around guitar. Yeah,
Yes. Hmm.
I write the guitar part and I just like expand the song from there, adding more layers, adding more instruments. Yeah, just from
Hmm.
there. So your way
Yeah.
to
Hmm.
write Whippers of the Moon is pretty unique. Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Okay.
it's definitely different where in comparison to if I do song with like L Cross or if I just write a project with Hugh, because then it's tend to get more structure when I work with someone else,
Yeah.
because then you cannot just go here and there just kind of wandering. But with Whippers of the Moon, I can, and I can afford to go wandering around. I just like, do I like the sound or not? If I don't like it, I just, whatever. I just try a different thing. So yeah, it's very much free in a sense. I don't constrain myself in one sound, or okay, here's this drum set. I have to use the same sound for all the song. So I can try to expand into different kind of theme, different sort of tonality in terms of like synthesizer or how I produce the drums and whatnot. Because it's a lot of the stuff that from in this album, like a lot of the driving force, it's in the drums. So I did spend a lot of time just tweaking the drums. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. Now I want to talk about you feature some artists on the
Yes. Hmm.
album, whether it's vocal or guitar. Have you planned this before the writing process, or like maybe this is something that like add on, some texturizing or something you
Hmm.
like use to flourish the tracks. Can you talk
Yeah,
about that?
this definitely the latter. It's very on the what's it on the fly. So like so one of the song when I sing it, it's like, oh, this sounds like I want someone to scream in the background.
Like
And so I was
cultural, yeah.
asking, yeah. So like I was asking, how you call him now? I don't know how to call him because he has so many different names. I just call him Long for now. So I just
Okay.
like, hey, you know what? I want you to scream in the background, and so he's recording it. So he recorded it, and I just put it in the background, just like it's a layer. So it's definitely not something that I planned beforehand. I was just like, okay, it's lacking something here, and I want it. The only exception to this one was two exceptions. Is the Drowning Sister, which is I think the six songs. And that one I know that at that time I haven't practiced with all the growling and screaming yet, so I knew that I couldn't do it. So I asked him and also Vietai, it's also another guy from the scene,
Mm.
and so they providing with all the screaming and growling for the sort of the chorus. And the next song, The Crimson Lady, that one also know that I want a very unique guitar solo at the end. And I know Lucas, and they have been a really good friend for a while, and I've known them for a long time and phenomenal guitarists. So I asked them like, yeah, do you want to be in the album? And it's like they said, yeah, sure, okay, and that's how it goes.
Okay. Okay. Um, uh, like you mentioned, and to my knowledge, you also have some other projects and other projects that you participate in.
Hmm.
Uh, you are behind Lunar Haze and
Yes,
Macintosh, other like
yes.
wave
Hmm.
project. Yeah. Why you stop working on those project and rebrand yourself into Lockeheart?
Yeah, so I think with Luna Haze, the idea at first was it's a bit tied into to my other project, which is the writing project. Was that so when I started it, it's the albums are concept album, which related to story or short story I was writing. But ever since those stories are no longer canon in the universe I'm writing, so I decided, yeah, they can be on their own. And also with Luna Haze is it's all over the place. The sound is all over the place. You know, the first album was like a post rock kind of thing, like very Alsace influence. The second one is neoclassical, which is kind of weird. I think the main influence for that one was Nightwish.
Oh,
And the third one was just like avant-garde electronic, some weird things in between as well. I don't really know how to categorize the third album. So it's all over the place. There's no cohesive sound. And then so I have an EP, which is like a dark wave kind of electronic album. So with this one, so that's one of the reasons. Like it's a bit incohesive, and so I want to try something else with a new project that could be more like have a more defined tone, so to speak. And also it was the first project that I'm singing, so I was like, yeah, let's just rebrand myself, choose a new moniker, and then I'm gonna start from there. So with this project, it's definitely gonna the next album will definitely gonna follow this sound of the first. I'm gonna expand on it, but they're gonna share the same um
like
thematic thematic themes in terms of sounds.
okay.
Um, so yeah, that's one of the reason. So that's why I stopped making music under the name Luna Haze. And for Akintosh, it was just a fun project that I did with you. And ever since he went back to Vietnam, so you know we're not gonna be able to meet anymore, and so it's like yeah, we just yeah, it was a fun time, and we just want to that's okay. It is what it is, and so we're fine.
Okay.
So yeah, if I ever come back to visit, we're definitely gonna write something together under the name Akantosh again, and it's just like it's gonna have a blast of the section because I remember in one of the sections where we record, I think it was the cheerleader song. We were trying to like making the sound of the cheerleader, and it was and then we pitched them up so it sounded like a high school girl.
LAUC.
It was super funny. And
Yeah,
yeah,
it is.
so
Yeah.
so the project in of itself, it's more like us having fun. So if he's not here, then it doesn't really make sense to continue. Yeah.
Okay. So like when you mentioned like working with Hill, I think you guys will continue working on L-Cross, right?
Yeah, we're still working on it.
Okay,
I
so
took more like a back seat because Hugh and Long, they're gonna do the most of the writing. Because personally I don't listen to a lot of black metal, so um my contribution to the band is usually more in about like the orchestration, like the arrangement, and also with the mixing and masterings, and those are the things that I can contribute and I do good. And so I want to let them do what they do best, which is create the sound that they're going for. So yeah, we both have our job. We both know where we're good at and where we're not good at, and so yeah, that's how we're decided to. For me to not technically not really a member of the band, but still kind of. It's kind of weird.
yeah, to me, you're still a member of L-Cross.
Yeah,
Yeah, you still have a crucial role in a way. Yeah.
in a way, yes.
Okay, I want to talk more about your like uh producer, the
Hmm.
producer Nemo.
Yes.
As I've known of, you have been working with Alcross and two other bands from the metal scene.
Yes.
I don't know if we can talk about them because it might be spoiler
Yeah, I would
spoiling. Yeah,
say
I don't
let's
know.
just
Yeah,
say okay.
let's
We would
say,
just keep it a secret for now. Yes.
yeah, let's just say you're working with two
Yeah.
other
Two other bands.
projects.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Uh, can you talk about like the process of working with them? Like, how does it
Hmm.
feel?
It's quite challenging in a sense, but very fun. Because the way that I approach mixing each band is very different, even though they're all black metal bands. So like
Oh,
when I go with
spoiler.
Cross, yeah, it's very different. It's more like progressive, a bit more modern sounding. So
Okay.
I can apply certain techniques and know-how that I have accumulated over the years when I was working with Luna Haze. And they like the sound. So with the new band, I was just start working like around a week ago. They wanted more like raw black metal kind of sound. So I can talk about this though. Is that I tried to approach a mix and I send it to them and they say it doesn't it sounds a bit muddy, or like it sounds a bit not clean or too clean. It depends on how you see it. Um, and I was talking with Hugh, who also produced the album, and I told him, okay, I think I know where the problem lies, and I just started a completely new project, and I mixed it from the get go. And the way that I approach this one, it's completely different than how I usually approach
With L
mixing an
cross.
album or
Yeah.
songs or L cross in that for the
Yeah.
matters.
Okay.
And I just don't apply certain um, rules or I don't apply certain techniques that I usually do. And it came off sounding very different, but the bands love it. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is really interesting way of seeing it because, yeah, it's every song is different and every genre is different as well. And so I think the important part is to know what the bands want, what kind of music they listen to, and you can ask them, okay, give me some reference of the songs you want, how you want your song to sound like. And so I can try to not at first to emulate the sound, but after that I can add my own tweak, make it sounds a bit different so it doesn't sound like every other band's. But the core idea is that they want something raw black metal, like the guitar just like screaming in your ears, like that kind of sounds. And I was like, okay, I can do that. Because usually for me, like I want I tend to listen to more like modern music, and they are heavily processed, and everything sounds very clean, very crispy, very punchy as well. And perhaps it's not something what they want to, and so I have to try a different approach. So it's interesting, and it's also a great learning experience as well. Yeah.
Well, okay. So now as you are a producer of like black metal projects, what are your opinion on black metal and extreme metal as a whole?
Um,
Well,
which is
musically and
music.
production wise.
Mm-hmm. Um, so I like I would Black Mirror is not the kind of music that I would like go to when I want to listen to some music, like,
Yeah.
but it is the kind of music that every now and then I just like I just want something like very atmospheric in the background. And that's when I'm gonna put it on. Or if I go to like a concert, usually concerts are great. It's because black metal has such a nice atmosphere to it. It's just like noise music. Like, I don't like noise music, but I love going to noise concert because it's just the atmosphere is just absurd. um and the same thing go with black metal, and I like that. um the history of black metal is something interesting, I have to say. Lots of rough patches and burning churches and whatnot, but it has its history. um but the way that we approach, at least now with the bands I'm working with, we're in the 21st century, and we are well, I wouldn't say evolve from like the history of it, like, but we approach the writing process differently, I would say. And that is why, we sing about like fantasy and whatnot. So it's very different from what it used to be,
Yeah.
in a sense, but they still capture that sounds of what black metal is. And so for me, as a kind of like part-time writer for the bands, and as a producer, I also need to, I mean, like, understanding the history of this is also pretty important, I think, in terms of how you um, mix or produce something. Because um, one of the reason for this is, I might be wrong, but if I remember correctly, is like black metal. It's like they were fighting back against the death metal, which is very clean
Yeah.
and just like precise kind of sounding, and they want something very raw, just like bzzz kind of sounding.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of like how black metal came to be as well. And
Yeah.
so, in a sense, if you're trying to make a black metal album that is sound too clean, it might rob it of its sort of history and heritage. And so that's something that, if you know about the history, you could put it into consideration as well. So yeah.
Well, yeah, consider it a history. Yeah, you were right
Hmm.
about the war between death metal and
Yeah.
black metal, about the production
Hmm.
uh, uh, approach. But yeah, I think over the years, I don't want to, I don't know what words do you maybe evolve, maybe
Hmm.
change. But yeah, they new bands, some bands still go with the raw and like wall up sound type of
Hmm.
thing, like the really bad production approach. Yeah, sorry, but some band like changed and they go with the cleaner production,
Hmm.
uh, which I think, to my perspective, to my opinion, I think it's uh evolving.
Yes.
Like,
Hmm.
yeah, and the music, it's still black metal, but well, the production gotta be, well, it needs to be better.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, because also personally for me, like if I were to listen to something through my headphones, it needs to have a certain, it needs to reach a certain degree of productions.
Yeah.
Because yeah, because there was this one band, it's called Diablo Swing Orchestra. So they play like theatrical metal or something. I really love them, but then latest album just didn't sound really nice to me. Like the songwriting wise, amazing, but the production, they were trying to emulate kind of like sound from the 50 or something, and it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's just a personal taste. So everyone
Yeah.
is different, you know.
Yeah. Maybe it's a bit like depends on taste too. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um. Uh. To my taste, I want it. I want something to standing between the line of like a bit raw and a bit
Mhm.
like clean production. So
Yes.
yeah, maybe that's something to work on in the future.
Hmm.
We'll
Yeah, I mean,
see.
like, also, yeah, we'll see. Also, I think with nowadays, like with just how good qualities, the recording equipments and guitars and bass and generals or whatnot, it's really hard to capture that shitty sound. I
Yeah,
mean, like
it's true. It's
you're not
true.
presumed in a
Yes.
fucking prison cell making
Yeah.
fucking
Dungeon
weird
music like yeah.
albums from, like, I
Yeah.
don't know, like this toy recorder or something.
Yeah.
So you cannot really replicate that kind of sound anymore.
Like who the fuck record entire album with just one mic in the middle of the
Yeah.
room? Yeah.
I mean, it has its aesthetic. I'll give it that. I don't
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
sound, but it
it's
has
true.
aesthetic.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
I can appreciate that. Yeah.
yeah. We all can. Yeah.
Mm,
Okay. So now I want you to pick like your top five albums of all time. Well, let it be
okay.
wave, let it be metal, or any genre you want. I don't know,
Hmm.
but it should be albums that you want to introduce to someone to like get to know you better.
Okay. Hmm. So the first one that came through my mind is definitely Imaginarium by Nightwish.
Oh,
Um, I love that album. It's gotta say, it's my all time favorite. It's perfect from the beginning to the end. Perfect balance between heavy metal and symphony. I love all the playings. It sounds very tight. It sounds amazing. The productions are brilliant, and especially the orchestral behind. It just adds so much to sound. It has some of the great really lyrics, especially the last song where they have like a very long poem for like 6 minutes. Brilliant stuff. I love it. The second one I would go for let's say Digital Veil by the Human Abstract. So it's a early metalcore band, and that album has a lot of neoclassical element to it. It's just like crazy arpeggio, like sounds very like Bach kind of thing. Um, Great album, great singing, great growling as well. Everything just sounds so melancholic, but it's very angry. Also, lyrically speaking, great theme. So that's another one. The third one I would go with Igor. I don't know how to pronounce it. Let me just look at that. Because it was in Sava Savage Synosis or something. I don't really know. Because I think they made up the name anyway. It's a avant-garde breakcore albums by a French uh, producer. I mean, he's the one guy. So a very, very interesting sound design album. Very heavy as always. But it's just brilliant, brilliant. The fourth one, let's say, it's a very small band. I don't think many people know this band actually. But they're also from France, and they're called Priapisma. And I need to look up the name of the album. Um, because I don't know, French people, they just have some of the weirdest name album.
well, French.
Diab, yeah,
French is a weird language.
yeah. I love French, but they're weird. Okay, so the band is called Priapismer, and it's like Diabolicus Felony Pandemonium. I will send you the name of the band
Okay,
later.
you gotta send me those names
Yeah, and
later.
this is a interesting album. It's avant-garde with jazz and a lot of metals now and there, and it's just like a plethora of different kind of sound. But I just love it. I love music that is weird. Um, so yeah, it is in the same vein with Igor. I think the guitarists of this band play additional guitars for Igor as well, so they're related. um, and the fifth one. Okay, this is a tough one. I want to go for something because I just picked like four heavy metal albums.
Maybe go with
Fourth
something
one.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I might go for something different because I do listen to a lot of different albums. Um, so maybe I would say either. I mean, Lepros is also a metal band, but they're moving towards more like progressive rock kind of sound. But I would go with Lepros then. And one of the album would be either Coal or what is the next one? No, the after one, Pitfall. That one is also really great because what I love about this album is that Einer, the singer, who is I think brother-in-law of Ishan from Emperor,
Isan?
um, Isan, yeah, from
Yeah.
Emperor, and yeah, he has brilliant voice. Um, yeah, I just love because for me when I start, especially for Lockeheart, it's I had to focus a lot on singing, and so I pay a lot of attention more to like people who have voices that I just love, and Aina is one of them. And if I do have to pick an honorable mention, I would pick Aurora or Aurora, yeah, Aurora.
Aurora.
The Yes, so amazing singer from Norway as well. Yes, she has amazing voice. I love her songs. Yeah, so that would be my picks for all the albums that I like and all the influence that have influenced my songwriting.
Okay. Um, have you listened to like new releases this year?
Oh, I have been. Yes, a few of them are really nice. Um,
Can you pick
mhm.
one to like suggest to the audience?
um, I so if I, I don't know if my, I don't know if my audience is gonna like some. Let's see. So one that I really like so far this year is it's actually a metalcore album, and it's by a band called Motionless in White. New
Oh,
album is
okay.
yeah, new album is brilliant stuff. I would likely to see them live next year with Beartooth, so I'm looking forward to that. Another album is from more like progressive rock and slash metal is by a band called Marathon. Also sound really nice. I can send you the links later. They have brilliant songwriting as well. So those would be the two albums that I would recommend. Yeah, or maybe what's the other one? Oh yeah, the new Aurora albums this year, earlier this year as well. Brilliant stuff. So if anyone haven't listened, go listen to it. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, what are your thoughts on the local metal scene in Vietnam?
hmm I really love that it seems like it's growing really fast. I wouldn't say really fast, but like it has this nice momentum to
Steadily.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
I would say
steadily
steadily.
grow,
Yeah.
and that's amazing. And I have to give kudo to Hugh and just how much work he put into it. He's very passionate about it, and he has been talking about this for years, ever since we have been friends, and especially during his time here, he always keeps saying that once he go home, he wants to start a label for once, and the next thing he wants to create this community of people. They're gonna play shows at least once every month or something, and just create this community. And it is amazing to see that he realizing this dream of his, and I'm really happy for him. So I really happy for the scene as well, because when I was there, it was this quite long ago. I would say it was like 6 years or something. um I've been to show before, but like I don't feel like they have that sort of kind of community per se. Like it was there, but it's not like very something that it's very consistent, I would say. Like every now and then, just like everyone's just, oh yeah, there's a lot of shows, and everyone's just like, oh yeah, cool. Everyone's going, and you get to see people. But when there were nothing, then it's just kind of died out. People don't really hang out other than after the show or something. When there were shows, so if there's no show, people just don't really hang out with each other, and so I find that's kind of a bit weird. Um,
Well,
but
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I think like the main reason why the scene back then was, I don't know, not as active as
Mhm.
these days is because there are, I know, too little output from bands from the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's one definitely. Yeah,
yeah.
and which is one of the other thing I really have to tip my hat to Hugh. It's just how he really It's not to say that I'm saying that everyone else or every band is just like, oh, they just start doing this because you say so. No, definitely not. Everyone wants to write stuff. I think it's just nobody really initiate this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think he does a great stuff, especially with Outcross and how he always pushed the band. It's like not only just like creating songs, making music, also like pushing it out to the world and like introduce it to everyone else, so people will know about, oh, there's a metal scene in Vietnam, which is a lot of people don't even know about that. And so that is amazing. And I think because of that, also a lot of people feel like, oh yeah, we can do this, and so everyone just like, yeah, let's just
Yeah,
gather
just
people together,
follow.
start
Yeah.
just start a
Yeah.
band, just start writing.
Yeah.
And definitely I think a scene is not really a scene if the band is not going to put out albums.
Yeah. I
they,
would
they
say
need
so
to do
too.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really great to see bands nowadays, new bands and also like older bands. They are starting to do stuff again. They start producing the album, they start writing the album and putting it out. So it's great. Looking forward to seeing how it's gonna grow from here. Yeah, it seems like it's going to get really big, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Yeah.
Okay. So, as a producer mm, who is like on top of the game right now, who some might say a sound wizard.
All right, first time I heard that, but yes. Uh,
um, do you have any tips or advice to beginners?
mhm. I would say just experiment. A lot of experiment if you can. So the way that I did it, I was writing song. I was writing a lot of songs, so which is why I have materials for me to practice with all this mixing and mastering. But I have a certain privilege, so I can attend some courses in mixing. So for at least a year or something, and I get to receive raw track from bands, from famous band, and then I can mix them, and then people are gonna have critiques on it. So that helps. But for anyone who just want to start out trying, just record stuff yourself. It doesn't even need to be a song, but record stuff, just short one, 30-second, it works too. And if you want to try to learn how to mix stuff, just do it. You have this short 30 seconds. Try to mix that, trying to balance the sound, trying to experiment, do new stuff. Also, YouTube has a lot of educational videos now.
Yeah.
You just go up there. Tons of people posting stuff. And also, it is important to not only watch how people who do the mixes in the genres you listen to, but also branch it out and see other people, what do they do, because you can always learn something new. Because mixing in all of this in different genres, there's all tools. Of course, there are certain tools that works much better for your genres, but it doesn't mean that you should exclude all the other tools that is available out there. And sometimes some of the small tools that a lot of people exclude is the one that's going to make your album stand out more, because you have that certain sound no one else has. So definitely, yeah, just experiment. You're gonna try, you're gonna fail, and you're gonna learn from it. It's gonna sound like shit at first, but you're gonna try.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So yeah, thank you for your time. Yeah,
Yes,
really
welcome.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Yes, I'm. Yeah, thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. I would
Okay.
love to. Yeah, if you ever want to do another interview, I would up for it. So yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. See ya, dude. Yeah.
All right. See ya.
Great time, man.
Mhm.